Hello everybody, bonsoir tout le monde. Very excited tonight. I'm meeting with Sarah Larbi to talk about Airbnb, short-term rentals, and my wife is going to be joining me in a few minutes, so she's just picking up our daughter. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to hear what Sarah has to say. And I also want to probably get into more Airbnbs. I recently acquired a property, and I think there's great potential for like medium, I'm not sure, I guess, short-term rental, but rentals that are like 28 days in length. So I'm excited to hear about what Sarah has to say. And there you go. Good evening. I guess I'll have to stand.
How's it going?
Good, and you? Whoops.
Good, good. I just actually got back from the cottage today, so I'm back in Oakville. But it's always nice to get out of the city once in a while and just enjoy the nature.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think your cottage is on the lake too. So
It is. It's waterfront, but it's still nice all season. So we go up in the middle of the the week or whenever it's not rented, and we enjoy it ourselves. So it's been a good experience. We've had it for about 3 years. What about you? Do you have any short term Airbnb rentals or cottages?
me, yes, I do. So I have a cottage, but it's seasonal. And I actually acquired two properties. So one I'm closing in a few weeks, and there is an Airbnb component to it. And then I have another one that will do not Airbnb, but furnished rentals, like 28 days for healthcare professionals.
Very cool. That's awesome. So that's what we're going to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about just short term versus long term, and just our opinions on it. And from a short term perspective, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to announce it today, but I'm going to announce it at some point. I mean, right now, as of before this weekend, I had the cottage and I had the Burlington and Hamilton stuff, but as of this weekend, I got some good news.
Big news, yeah.
Piece of land, and we're actually going to be developing a tiny home cottage resort with all different themed cottages. So super exciting!
Amazing.
Exciting. The project is going to be awesome. I can't wait to get it started with a few cool, awesome partners.
That's amazing. So short, and will they be year round, you think? I guess like
Yeah,
then.
we're gonna make them year round. Um, and I think that's the way to go. Even in the spring, the fall, like even for my current cottage, I get literally the next 3 weekends. It's fully booked for
Wow.
the rest of March. So it's it's definitely, I think, the way to go. And people still want to get away. And even though the water is not swimmable, obviously when it's too cold, it still makes sense to make it year round.
Can you ice fish on your lake? Like do ice?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So that's good for those that like that.
Yeah. I mean, the neighbor, so I don't do it because I have
Me
no,
either.
like, no interest in being out in the cold. But our lake, our next door neighbors, for example, they'll set up like a little tent, and then they set up, they've actually snowmobiled even on the lake too, but they'll set
Yeah.
up a little ice fishing area, which is pretty cool. So tell me about your cottage, your Airbnb, and maybe what you like more, um, whether it's short term or long term, and why.
So actually, I like both, but short term, what's fun with the cottage is it's in Picton, so near Lake Ontario.
Hmm.
So it's quite nice that way, and it's part of a resort, but it's a land lease. So I know you said it's not the best, so I agree with you. But
Lease,
it's
yeah.
true.
So you know what? But this is a good conversation to have because leased
Absolutely,
land cottages seem so cheap,
they
but
are.
you don't own the land ever, pretty much. So, and there's lots of regulations around it. So what did you find out?
Yeah, so it would be great. I actually really like it. It's the company that manages it that isn't so great.
Mm.
Otherwise, I just love it. It's beautiful. It's got like a private beach for the resort. It includes heat, the hydro, the water, garbage, lawn care. So it's very easy. But yeah, again, it's just the management. It's like a condo. So I said no more condos, and then I got this cottage, but it's near wine country, so I had to get it. But
And I think it was like pretty cheap, right? When you got it?
it was, yeah, we got it for 62,000, and I think we're gonna be able to sell it for 100,000 this year because we cleaned it up quite a bit, changed some furniture, and yeah, basically a cottage flip. So it's gonna be
Nice.
fun.
That, yeah, I mean, you know what? You got it for about a year and you made 40K profit. You know, why not?
Yeah,
It's a good way to do it. Did you have a lot of inquiries and people wanting to rent it over the summer?
yeah, we have tons of inquiries, and last summer was booked quite a bit, and even during the fall because it's near the wineries and all that, so it was great
Mhm.
that way. But again, the resort does have all kinds of rules, so you can't do this, can't do that. But anyway, it was a learning experience. So I agree with you. Next time I want to own the land. That way I do what I want on it. But again, there could be regulations. Some towns like
Yeah.
Pickett, Airbnb is not allowed everywhere. So it's like Ottawa. You need to have, where I live, you need to have to be owner occupied, or there's some rules around it. So
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, some small towns too, like lakefront towns, frown against it. So you do want to check to make sure that there's no restrictions with the town and short-term renting your lake house, your cottage, or whatnot. Because, and then the other thing too is, you know, what are the neighbors like? If there's a way to get some inside knowledge, because I mean, I have a friend that bought a cottage, wonderful cottage, but his neighbors call and complain like every single time there's, you know, Airbnb renters,
oh no.
the police stuff. Like it's so hard to know like some of this stuff, right? Are your neighbors going to be crazy and like, or are they going to be accepting and you're going to be lucky, and are they going to, you know, leave you alone and offer to help? So that's the other thing. You never know what kind of neighbors you're going to get, even just for, you know, the Burlington Airbnb place. You know, it's not even lakefront, but some people are nosier than others. You know, they want to
Yeah.
know what's going on versus like, I don't know, some of my Oakville neighbors, like they might know in business, like some of them I've barely ever spoken to. But I will say my cottage neighbors, like one of them is from the US, so we kind of oversee and just keep an eye out on their place as they can't come up, obviously. But they're super nice. And then next door, they live there year round, and they'll totally come and, you know, hang out with us if we're having like a bonfire and all that good stuff. So
Ooh.
yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
kind of why I picked that cottage on the resort, is I was circumventing all those regulations because the resort had the permission to do short-term rentals. So I didn't need to apply for a permit or ask for any permissions. But then the resort started clamping down on their own rules. So that's where it changed. But it
Yeah.
could be good. I mean, if it's just for myself and not turning it into a business, then it'd still be good. But I wanted to earn some income from it. So yeah.
So can I ask, like, roughly for yours that you bought for 60 something thousand bucks, like what were you getting a night?
So high season, $375.
Nice. That's really good for something that's 60 grand.
Yeah, and it's only one bedroom plus it's like a living room with, it's like a den that's a bedroom with a bunk bed. So
That's
yeah,
some pretty good nightly rates right there.
well, because it's right by sandbanks, so you can swim to sandbanks.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, so that's why the location is prime, but it's just, yeah, the regulations. But if I keep it, maybe I'll see. But
Yeah, can I ask, and I can share mine as well, but when you looked at cash flow and looking at vacancies and what that looks like, I don't know if there's one that you use for yourself, but from a Ontario cottage standpoint, I kind of do the 90, 50, 20 numbers, like high season, July, August, 90% vacancy. Mid-season, it's like May, June, September will be like 50% vacancy, just to analyze things, and then everything else I just use a 20% vacancy. I found that that's pretty, like, you know, if I get extra, that's good, but I like that that's, in my opinion, it's fairly conservative because you still have
yeah,
Christmas and March break that I look at as low season, but, you know, like clearly it's going to likely be rented at that point in time. And then the rates are a bit different, right? So you've got
yeah.
obviously higher rates during you know, July 1st to Labor Day weekend. You know, but do you have a way that you calculate your you know, your income and when you're projecting that kind of stuff before you're purchasing the property?
Yeah, it was like that cottage is seasonal, so it's only from May 1st to August, October 31st. So we did kind of like what you did. So high season is June, July, August, and the beginning of September. Everything else was really downhill from there, just weekends and stuff. Um, but yeah, most of my other properties are more long-term rentals. Or I'm gonna start, like I said, some furnished rentals near a hospital, a new property I'm getting in a few weeks. So that's great. Oh, I see someone says I have a basement apartment rented. Will be coming up for renewal this June. Should I go back to Airbnb? So Sarah, what do you think?
I think it just
Depends, I
depends
guess.
on where it is, right? I mean, I think more and more now with how the LTB is going, the RTA, um, I'm kind of enjoying this short to medium term thing
Yeah,
quite. Like even in Burlington, and I'll tell you, it's not like the weekends here, the weekends there. It's like people that are staying for a month or 3 months, and like they actually have a story that checks out. They've sold their house, they're moving, into another house, and they need like 2 or 3 months either for people to finish school, or I have a company that rents out stuff for their executives, which is really cool. And I don't know, like I like that like 1 to 3 month stay. I furnish it. I do a nightly rate. And then sometimes I'll do like an occupancy agreement, or otherwise I'll do it through Airbnb. But I likely will do more of those moving forward. Personally, that's kind of I think my sweet spot that I enjoy having people like us that just need to temporarily rent a space, and then they're kind of in and out.
yes. So she said Brampton, but I agree with you. Absolutely, with everything going on with the landlord and tenant board, I would stick with medium term, short term rental. Jennifer just came back.
Yes.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey Jen, how are you?
Good, you?
About short, medium term, or long term rentals. And probably for Brampton, I mean, I would look at Airbnb. I would see what the market is. It's probably going to cost, I don't know, 15 to 20 grand to furnish it. If you've got to furnish it 3 or 4 bedroom as an example. I don't know how big it is. If it's less, then it's probably going to be less. But like my basement in Burlington, instead of getting 1600-1700 for the long term, like the ones that book off Airbnb, it's like almost 3 grand a month.
Wow.
Yes, and no landlord tenant board.
Yeah, that's the part we love. You can increase your rent or decrease it, and it's flex space. So
Yeah.
our own house, we were thinking about house hacking in the basement, doing an Airbnb. And the way we were going to design it was that you can open it up, use it up if you have family, and if you don't, you close it up and then turn it into an Airbnb. So all kinds of advantages. And it's on a ravine, but anyway.
Right. Right. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things, like, yes, it's a little bit more hands-on.
Yeah.
You're likely going to have to, replenish stock. You're going to have to pay for the internet. Your utilities are likely going to be coming out of your pocket. So you've got to add those additional costs. Then you've got to look at, okay, what's the vacancy rate like for these types of things? And it's kind of hard. Like it's hard to figure out exactly what the vacancy rate is, because there's going to be some months that I have like 3 months, with nothing because it's the same person.
Yeah.
And it might be, rented 3-4 times a month from Airbnb. So there might be a little bit more gaps in between. It is hard to say. I think the cottage rental market is in my opinion, it's a little bit easier to predict.
Yeah.
And
Or
to
and
yeah, exactly, and to analyze. But just even looking at my Burlington one, like they've pretty much been full, maybe minus a couple days here and there since I've listed it. So
That's amazing. That's great. So you're certainly making more money than if you had a long-term tenant.
oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well, because the long term and the long term tenant, I mean, really, ultimately, we didn't know what we wanted to do with this property, so to ask the long term tenant to move out after, if we want to switch the purpose of it or whatnot, like right now with the LTB, it's not just, I just don't see it being worth it. It's like you either just do your short term and medium term, and you stick to that, and and some properties long term is better. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. Jennifer and I, we have one that's just coming up April 1st, and we're wondering if we should fix it up and turn it into furnished rentals. But it's a bit dated, and I find usually when you do Airbnb, you want something very nice and much more modern and fresh. Like it's not a bad apartment
No.
or anything, but it's not got like
It's
white
1992.
appliances. Yeah, it's stuck in 1992. So, and then it's priced accordingly. But if we wanted to turn it into Airbnb, what would you do? Like invest in new appliances, change some flooring?
I mean, I would probably take a look and see right now what you're competing against, right? So if you're competing against these like really nice properties that have the same maybe square footage and number of people that can go, but they're all brand new and you would have to put a ton of money into it just to get it to that price,
Yeah.
and the cost per rent, per night, you have to see if it's worth it. Because if the cost per night is not that drastic from going long term, again, are you going to want to pay and put in 10 or 15K to, make it look pretty and modern again? And is it worth the difference? Again, it's so location specific. So if you look at like the short-term rental market and you look at the long-term market and the delta is not that big, I probably would just leave it as is in that case, right?
I think that's where we are, because nice windows, a good spot, but maybe furnished rentals would do well. But not Airbnb, definitely. I wouldn't.
There are some sites.
I was speaking with a real estate investor in an investor group, and she was actually amazed at how well her Airbnb did in our area, which is like a
suburb. Really, like there's the most exciting thing is Walmart or Starbucks.
Yes. Those are the two.
Or wild turkeys. We have a lot of wild turkeys in the backyard right now. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, worst comes to worst is you put the furniture in the unit and it doesn't work. I mean, could you take that furniture and put it into another unit? Like I don't know how many. You guys have a ton of units right now.
Yeah, some of them are a little far. Yeah. A few thousand kilometers away. So. But I guess we could put ghost ads. Is that something you've done? Like you put in a fake ad and see? Because we do that for long term, but like before buying in a market, I usually put fake ads and see.
If you're doing it on Airbnb, that would be really hard, right? Because you got to put pictures and then people book and that kind of stuff. But
Kijiji or something.
Yeah, you could do it on Kijiji and just see. But you're probably like, I wouldn't want to rent my short-term rentals or medium terms on Kijiji. I would prefer to just do it where Airbnb vets them and I can see their prior reviews, and like that has been for me, just looking and making sure that they have a bunch of prior positive reviews has been a great thing, because otherwise if I want to open the door for 3 months to somebody, like I would likely have to do a whole bunch of checking, credit pulls and this and that. It's just, sometimes it's just easier to do that, even if it's 3 months, to just do it through Airbnb. Or find a good company that has executives sign the contract with the company. That's also a good option.
Yeah, there is a local company that does take care of it all. I guess we could ask that company if they would give us an analysis, because that's something else. People that are listening, there are companies that can do the whole Airbnb, so you actually kind of contract out the space. And
yeah, I mean, they'll charge some of them charge 25% or whatnot, but it's like it's done for you. Like you literally hand everything over. And they take care of it. They replenish, literally it's like hands off. Some of them, right? So, but you're paying for it. So, but they can give you an idea of what you need to do and if it's worth it for the property that you've got specifically.
Yeah, maybe we should look at that.
Look at that. It's great to talk to Sarah.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. So anybody listening, if you have questions, I think now's the time. Like you've got Sarah, the bird queen here. We're really fortunate to have you on.
And for those of you guys, and it's fun, and for those of you that may not know, we all work together, the three of us on the Right Club. But today's topic is short-term rentals or vacation rentals. So if there are any questions, we're happy to answer them. We're also going to post this video so you can ask questions afterwards as well. But I think we're going to be doing this every single week to start for the next 4 weeks. At 7:30 on Mondays, and we're going to have these 10, 15, 20-minute conversations. If you do have any specific questions on the topic or real estate in general, that's cool too. But today's topic is short-term rentals, Airbnbs, that kind of stuff, and then we'll switch it up every single week.
Yeah, did you guys actually talk about her tiny house project? I'm
Yeah,
so
the very
excited
I
about
know,
that.
no, just at the
It's gonna be fun. I haven't officially announced it yet, but
Oh,
too
sorry.
late.
no, that's fine. I kind of talked about it at the very beginning. Basically, I acquired a piece of property over the weekend that's 5 acres, and then there's some waterfront parts to it too. And we're going to be building a tiny home cottage village, and each tiny home will be a different theme.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
much
Our
fun.
daughter loves tiny homes. Like, she just can't get enough of the HGTV TV shows that have tiny homes. It's like tiny homes.
Yeah, we're going through a minimalist phase right now, and we're selling furniture and things, and like,
We're
well,
still
we'll
not ready for a tiny home, but I think it's a cool idea as a cottage. I think that's gonna be awesome.
I don't think I could. Yeah, I don't think I could live in the tiny homes either all year. But like for like a week, I think it's part of the whole experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think that people, even if they don't want to live in a tiny home, would love the tiny home experience. Like just trying it out for a week or a weekend or
Yeah.
whatever.
So we have a bunch of questions. Let's see. Paul DeJong, do you short-term the top and bottom on Airbnb separately?
Yes, I do. And then I also put in the listing descriptions that they could rent it as a whole house to contact me if they do want to.
Okay.
That's a good idea. In case they want more space.
And someone higher up said, oh, I don't see it, but it's something about which, oh yeah, what Airbnb tools do you use to maximize your revenue?
I mean, in terms of like figuring out the rents, I usually just try to figure, I don't use any Airbnb tools per se. I actually go and see what my competition is. And then I just make sure that I have extra stuff that they don't have. I do allow pets. So a lot of them don't allow pets. It just allows me to price my property nightly rates a little bit higher that way. But you know, I mean, I'm sure there's some good tools. I haven't found that I needed them at this point in time. Just because my Burlington place has like pretty much been solidly booked. And then my cottage, again, I just like try to go as high as I can. And in the summer, there's no issue with that. Off season, what I'll do is if I don't have any bookings or I don't have a whole lot of stuff for that month, I might just like play around a little bit with the prices or maybe the amount of days that they can book. So like, for example, like for March, it wasn't booked 2 weeks ago. Now it's pretty much booked for every single weekend. But what I did is I went from like 5 days of minimum booking to like 3. And so it just allowed people that were searching for the 3 days only for mine to come up so that they can start booking it. And then, so there's like little things that you can do that way that will do it. But just in terms of tools, like I think I like to search and I just like to see what, you know, go through the pictures. And because even if you're going to use something that's going to give you like an idea of what you can get, I find that they're just low. Like they lowball you and you can do higher.
Yeah, we actually did that with our cottage and we found that the Airbnb was like always renting it lower than the competition. So like, why bother?
Yeah, it's like we're renting it for free and then we could rent it way higher. So, wow.
Yeah.
Another
All right,
question.
we have a few, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we have a few more questions. Yeah, go ahead, read them.
Yeah, where would you recommend to look for comparables for short-term rentals happening now in our areas to see if it's worth it? So I guess Airbnb, and you can put the city or area.
Yeah, Airbnb is probably the #1 source. Like otherwise, like there's other companies like VRBO and like other things like that. But so personally for me, the majority of my bookings have always been through Airbnb. The comps are pretty good, but what I would do when you're looking on Airbnb is just take a look at their calendar so that you can see what's actually booked versus not booked.
Yeah.
And then take a look, and then you can gauge like, okay, is this actually like booked for the whole month? Is it like still completely open? How long they've been with Airbnb for will also make a difference too. And then I would also look at their reviews so you can see what months people have stayed at. I mean, obviously it's hard to say were they there for 1 day or for 1 month, but you'll be able to gauge like whether this was good all year, and then go from there. And then you can also just even reach out to some of them. I've had some people reach out to me asking me if they could ask some questions about the cottage in the area, and because they were thinking of, you know, buying something close by and what I was getting, and I was totally fine helping somebody else, right? Even though it's competition, it's really not, because especially in the, you know, heat, I would say in the spring and the summer, there will be shortages of cottages regardless, because everybody wants to rent. What about you guys? Anything that you would say for comparables?
Comparables, so yeah, depends on the market, I guess. But yeah, like you said, VRBO, Airbnb. GG, Facebook Marketplace.
That's pretty well what we've always done. Just check out the competition and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, reach out to people. I agree with you. People are very nice. They're going to share their experience. So it's so true.
Yeah. You can check out resorts in the area. Sometimes resorts have like cottages and they rent them out. So that gives you a good idea as well.
Even hotels. I know it sounds weird, but booking.com, some Airbnb can be found on there as well.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, more standard stuff. I see some questions about
another one. So would it be, where is it? Would it be a good idea to buy property in Hamilton for Airbnb?
I have one in Hamilton. Yeah,
you have one?
It works well. There's the hospital there. There's a university there. I think that's a good market for it. I mean, I think the closer to the nice downtown trendy area you are, the better.
Yeah, for sure.
And then someone said midterm, 1 to 3 months. So where do you look for that competition? I think we've answered. You guys wholesale any cottages? So not me, not us.
Do you wholesale, Sarah?
No, but it's funny. I actually had somebody on the phone today that has a cottage nearby, and he's like, "I want to sell it." I'm like, "Why do you want to sell it?" He's like, "Well, the market's gone up. Like he bought it for one price, like it's gone up 150 grand, like literally in the last like 4 months." And then he's just like a little bit more new to the whole cottage rental. I'm like, if you want to sell it, you tell me. I've got people looking. But yeah. I would recommend that you don't sell it and you keep it and like try to, rent it out. And I gave him some contacts of people that could, help him with more of the day-to-day management and the cleaning. But it is hard to find waterfront. This is why I'm like, screw it. Like the actual land and building is probably the way to go. Now I can build 10 of these little things and I don't have to worry about, fighting with like 20 people on one property.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. So that's why we've been having on pre-construction or build your own, that kind of deal, because you're not fighting off all the crazy people.
The crazy people like us.
Yeah, like us that are buying properties. So, but you create your own opportunity, so that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you'll do well with tiny homes, and it's allowed out there, so that's cool. It's not everywhere. Not all towns allow it. So.
Exactly. So yeah, we're excited. I mean, it's a brand new project, but I also don't want to make them all the same. I think part of it is actually like theming them and make them different. So someone's like that's trying one that's, I don't know, whatever, like a Marvel theme or like a Caribbean theme. They're like, they want to try the other ones because they're like, oh, I wonder what this other one's like. So there's so much more to come. For sure. It's so new, but like that's the original concept. We'll see how it develops over time.
Yeah, absolutely.
One could be like eco-friendly, like everything is super, I don't know, solar powered, and something cool like living off the nature. And
I'm probably gonna take like some ideas from people as well as we go, like and I know Francois and I were talking about it, Jennifer, I don't know if he told you, but just to make it like either a YouTube show or something around it where people can come and like help with the designs and like a little like casting call fun like YouTube thing. We'll see ideas for now, but we close on it at the end of June, so
that's very exciting. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. YouTube all the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, do you have good internet out there so you can film live?
Yeah, for sure. So what's the next project for you guys?
So we have two sixplexes. We're finally coming along quite well. There was an oil tank removal issue that was lots of fun, but almost done now.
Yes, we're at the last mile.
Yeah, and then we have a fourplex in Moncton, and there's this one has like probably a long-term furnished rental in it because it's near a concert area.
They were Airbnb-ing it before COVID.
But I see it more 28-day, like 30-day rentals rather than Airbnb. So I don't know what else.
Checking out what we can do for that one, and then
U.S. properties. So probably 10. So we're really excited about that one.
How many units did you guys add to your portfolio since COVID started?
Oh my. That was
about 18.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's good. It's not huge, but now it's gonna go like this.
And you're doing it with JVs, not using your own money. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. Congrats. I mean, you guys have scaled up like in a time where it was hard for so many people, and you found a way to, think outside the box and go to different markets, and and so it's just super inspiring to see. And I will also say, if you guys listening to this or watching this have questions about Eastern Canada, I mean, you've done a bunch of stuff out there now. You're starting to build a team. I think you're like my new go-to people. If someone's like Eastern Canada, I'm like, I don't know, ask Francois and Jennifer.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a lot of experience for sure.
Out east, and we're looking out west now, believe it or not. So I'm bad. I'm like,
oh man, where out west are you going?
Probably Saskatchewan and Alberta. So the goal is eventually to live part-time down south, and then east and west, depending on where the weather is nicer.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's the goal. We want to be like, yeah. We want to.
Frost's just a nomad.
Yeah, I want to try 50.
I'm all about that life. I'm all about that life as well. I get it. Like why be here in February when you're just like, basically hibernating, when you can actually enjoy more of your life in the outdoors somewhere else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, big dreams for
awesome.
now.
Awesome.
How about you after your land development?
Is there anything else planned or parallel or?
For what?
A big project though.
Well, I'm still working on that land that I bought before, like that closed in February, right? The towns that I'm building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's in Lakefield, and then I'm gonna do this tiny home cottage project. That's gonna keep me busy. I mean, I'm still looking, but like I really wanted this tiny home cottage project. So like now I'm like, just like my mind is racing on all the little like cool like little things that you can do with it. But if I find something else, I'm totally gonna jump on it. But I definitely want to make sure these projects, are awesome. So
yeah, well, that's great. Well, now that you're in that position, like you quit your 9-to-5 in October, and now you can just do the fun projects.
Can you imagine doing all this with your work?
No,
way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just actually nice to just be able to have like time to, enjoy and sometimes just like chill out and read and like do different things. So I had an amazing boss. I had an amazing job. For a job, it was awesome. But yeah, you're right. Like it's still 50 hours a week of, doing something that's not your passion.
Yeah.
No. And I was listening to one of your upcoming podcasts, and you did say something you wished you had enjoyed more of the journey. So I thought that was really kind of cool to mention, is you did rush to get it done, but you would have taken more vacation because, well, we can't really vacation very far.
Oh man, so. I know, right? But you guys, I mean, Francois, you just recently left your 9-to-5 as well.
Yes. Yeah, and it's been, at first I was like, this is very scary. I don't know how we're going to pay the bill. Like we did have a plan, but the bills and stuff, there's always surprises with the family and kids. And our daughter does competitive gymnastics. It's really not cheap. It's thousands of dollars a year. And our son is computers and stuff. But the opportunities keep coming. It's just insane. I could go back to work.
Well, that's really part of the reason why you quit your job, is because there were so many opportunities that we were like, okay,
we're missing out.
We're missing out.
Taking sick days from the office, or taking calls, and then I have to stay late at the office because I took a call during the day. It just was unmanageable.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah, and the cash flow now.
Missed opportunities, right? It's the missed opportunities that you can't take because of that time, or that you can't see because you're not able to focus enough on your real estate stuff.
Absolutely.
So she's next. We'll see.
I'm excited for you guys. I mean, like it was a big move. Like just, like me, I quit in the middle of COVID, but you also quit in the middle of COVID, and
I was working in the retirement industry. It was very depressing. Like all the seniors being locked up for months. I just couldn't take it. So
yeah.
And I love them. I miss my seniors, but they were so cute. I had like hundreds of grandmas and grandpas. But seeing them locked up and all that, I couldn't take it.
It's actually hard for the seniors to be locked up like that all the time. Well, for everybody, but I mean.
Yeah, there was lots of suicide and stuff, so it's just.
I mean, that's the stuff that they don't share, right? So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
people trying to jump off balcony. Anyway, we're not gonna get into that.
Wait, we have a question. Let's go
Yes.
back to real estate. We have a question from Kelly. Kelly's one of my students. How long have you guys started investing? Like, how long has it been since you started?
Us, well, it's hard to pinpoint, but very, very seriously, like 18,
About 18
months.
very seriously, yeah.
But for 5 years, we've been kind of dabbling. Like I bought Jennifer, well, we bought a nasty duplex for her birthday.
That was a birthday present. That's a cool
Best
birthday present.
ever.
She cried the whole time.
Yes, it was not tears of joy.
No, but 18 months. So Kelly, you can do it quickly if you have a good plan and the BRRRR strategy. Like Sarah, we're now getting into the BRRRR because we did this all backwards. Well, no, we did it, I guess, like most people do. We used our resources and we ran out of cash, then we ran out of credit.
And we had no idea what the BRRRR was. But
And then we got a really shady mortgage broker deal with money at the back of a van. Anyway, bad story.
Yeah, don't get into all of that.
So we learned a lot.
And how about you, Sarah? How long have you been investing?
Since 2013.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't scale as quickly as you guys. I kind of just did like one a year here and there, you know, as I was working. And then at one point I started doing the short and medium term rental, and then that's just a cash flow boost, and it just allows you to create a lot more cash flow in less time. So that kind of, you know, helped propel me forward. And so it was the right time, I think, you know, 7 years from the start. But you know, there's different ways to do it. I mean, you guys scaled super quick, and you worked with JVs. I mean, how many? So you have 18 units. How many are JV units?
Well, we have 5 are JVs.
5 are JVs, yeah.
Yeah,
So
5 are JV projects. So one is a 5-plex, and one's a 4-plex, and one's a duplex. So
and then the 6-plexes is going to be a corporation with a
JV partner.
A JV partner, because we're actually swapping JV partners on one project. So anyway, if you want to know about crazy stuff, then we know all about it.
Yeah, but still, that's amazing. 7 years for you. I mean, you were a one man or one woman show.
So.
I want to have you guys both on my podcast, because it is cool to see like couples doing it, and like, you know, both of you supporting each other and like being all into it, which is awesome. When are you you're scheduled for my podcast, I think, Francois, right?
No, you sent me the link, but I'm so bad. I'm like, I'll leave other people. Yeah, I'm going to get a good start.
Okay, Jennifer, make sure you guys book something, both of you. I think it'll be good for like you both to be on and like share your journey, because you're both equally involved, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's really like she's the numbers lady. I'm the creative relationship type. So there's some more questions.
Just left it at crazy.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the crazy guy. There's more questions.
If you had to go back, what would you have done differently, and how would you
find a team in Alberta? How do you find JV partners? That's a lot in.
Yeah, that's
all right. How do you? If I were to go back, what would I have done differently? I mean, probably so many things, really, ultimately. But if I can summarize them, maybe in like 3, I would have planned my team from the start, just my expert team and who I actually needed, and you know, borrowed some from the right sources. I didn't have the right team in the beginning. Number 2, I would have not gone directly to the bank, because Matt and I both put our the mortgages in both of our names, which if we had known differently, it probably would have been much smarter. One each, back and forth, and you could do a JV agreement behind the scenes so it doesn't mess up both of your credits or show up on both of your credits. And you know, number 3, probably got better organized from the start. I'm horrible with paperwork, and I would have hired my bookkeeper years ago. But I mean, there's tons of things that you can look back at and say, I would do this differently. I mean, probably in 10 years from now, I'd still do different stuff in 10 years from now that I'm probably even doing today, right? It's all about continuously improving. What about you guys? What would you do differently?
We would hire a bookkeeper.
I'm definitely a numbers person, but I like more analyzing numbers, and I hate doing like, you know, putting all the little receipts in your QuickBooks, and that's like really boring. So that would definitely be one, and I think a lot of people say it, but start sooner. I mean, if we had known more when we were younger.
Man, when we lived in Hamilton, that's going to date us, 1999. Lock streets, like if you know, well, you know Hamilton, that was dirt cheap. You could get properties for under 100,000.
Yeah.
So, and London, we lived in London in
Yes.
1998.
Townhouses were going for 69,000
in London. We could have
I
bought
mean,
them on credit cards.
yeah, it's insane. But you know what? The prices today in 20 years will seem like that exact amount of business, just in a different number. But it'll feel cheap in 20 years from now in today's craziness.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh, look at that house. It was only $1 million.
Man, what a bargain.
So that's one thing. And then they said, how do you plan on building a team in Alberta? And how do you find JV partners?
So you know what, Francois, why don't you answer that? Because you're going out west now.
Well, I think it's the same everywhere, though.
Yeah.
Like, you just, you have to have like a little bit your nose to the ground. You have to get to know people. Like, you can't just go and say, I'm going to go invest in Alberta without meeting people in Alberta and kind of building your team before you start doing it.
So that's why the Right Club is hosting these regional events. So Alberta, I'm going to tap into that group and definitely find properties. I'm already making a lot of connections, like private lenders in Alberta. I know a few realtors now, mortgage brokers. And as a retired person, I know I qualify. We've been told for another maybe 15 properties, even with no income. So it's awesome because of properties and equity and stuff. So yeah, it's building that power team. Like you were saying, you need to lay that ground. Property management is the toughest one, I would say, to find. So when things reopen, I might fly down there and do some stuff. So yeah, we'll see. And host in person the Right Club Alberta.
I mean, that is a great answer because yeah, absolutely. You actually do work hard to find good speakers for our events in those other markets, right? So the ones that we do for the West Coast, like you're talking to mortgage brokers or lawyers or realtors, other investors out there and whatnot, and you're bringing them to speak. So I mean, I think you're right. Like that is a really good opportunity. And then people that are there as attendees, I mean, you might be able to connect with some of them and start having that conversation.
I do quite a bit, actually. I do get a lot of requests and questions. I'm sure like you do, and people that want to partner. But again, this is a legal thing as well. You can't just JV with anyone. So you have to build a relationship and you don't want to partner up with just a stranger yourself anyways. No, that's it. You need to build that trust and everything. So
yeah, absolutely. Well said. I think Kelly was asking about insurance for short term and stuff. Like I'll tell you, my Burlington insurance is like double what it would probably be because it's like short term and a lot of insurance companies don't like it. So I want to say it's like $210 a month, and I think regularly I probably would get away with 100, but I would rather get properly insured. It's like, yeah, it's not that, like, it's not like 5 times more, but it's likely like 1.5 to 2 times more. Yeah. Okay.
But it's an expense. I mean, if you're set up like your corporation and all that, and you don't charge HST on Airbnb, I guess, or?
I don't. I mean, I know some people that do. I kind of make it included and then we'll go from there. But probably the right way to do it would be to build them for HST as a separate thing before they come in. So you kind of have to, see if, that's to me, that's probably the best right way to do it. But yeah, we like HST because you can capture some of it, and it is called a value add tax. So if you have businesses, there's some cool stuff you can do with it. So I know it sucks to pay it, but when you have a business, there's some advantages. So.
I think there's another question.
Someone says, love the
Right Club, and networking is awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I mean, this was a good first, conference or call or live or whatever you guys call it. But if you do enjoy these, let us know. And we're going to keep doing them every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Different topics. We can take some questions from you if you have any questions, real estate investing related, lifestyle. We can keep it fun and exciting and change up the topics each time then. And, guys, Francois and Jennifer, I mean, congrats on your success so far. You're super inspirational. And you're a big part of the Right Club, and you're making You're making some great things happen. Thank you for putting our meetings together at the right club. That is awesome. I mean, you guys are doing it so well. And guys, thank you for tuning in as well. I appreciate everyone taking some time on Monday evening to tune in.
Well, yes, and thank you, Sarah. And I'm really excited to hear about your tiny house project.
Can't wait for the updates.
I will provide more info soon. As soon as we have like a little bit of a more concrete idea, I will share that with you guys. But I am super excited about it. I think it'll be one of the most fun projects I've definitely ever done, and probably will ever do. So, Tiny House Nation, here we go.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thanks. Have a great night, Sarah.
Bye. Good night, guys. Thanks so much. Take care.
You too.
You too. Bye-bye.